What an amazing morning. So I don't have enough gas to fly. I would have loved to get up in the air this morning. It's chilly though. It's in the low 40s. I used up all my gas yesterday, and the amount of time it take to run into town, get gas, come back, drive out to a site, it would just take too long. So I decided to take the Sur-ron out and hit some of these back trails. I'm actually looking for a different camping spot. I really like where I'm at now, but there's a little bit of highway noise, and trucks are coming down the hill and they're jake braking, so it's a little bit noisy. Not a huge deal, but I want some serenity, peace and quiet out here. So I'm just out flying around, checking things out. This Sur-ron, it is so much fun. The thing weighs about 100 pounds. It's got plenty of power, so basically I can climb any hill I want. It's so light that I can pick it up and turn it around. If you've ever ridden a dirt bike and you start climbing a hill and you start slipping and sliding and it starts to tip over, it's heavy. Then you get to a point where you need to turn around and you're trying to back it up without flipping over. This thing, it's amazing. So it's little, but it's comfortable. It's got plenty of power, and man, I tell you what, it's limitless. Outside of the battery, I'm at like 48% now. I haven't charged it since I left home, so I've gotten some pretty impressive battery life out of it. I've driven it every day. I'm guessing you could get pretty good at 2 hours of consistent riding, like aggressive riding, maybe 3 more if you just cruise around. So pretty fun. But anyway, just hitting some trails out here. Beautiful and quiet. What more can you ask for? So my amazing campsite, I had a little detour. It was pretty cool out there. I had some concerns. There was so much of that red clay, and it's supposed to rain tonight. I figured that would turn into a huge mess tomorrow morning. So I was debating if I should leave that campsite or not. Well, anyway, I took my V-Strom, my motorcycle, out for a ride, and I had some overheating issues yesterday when I was cruising around. And I thought maybe it was just because I was going really slow in the sand, and I don't know, maybe it just got too hot. So anyway, I took it out today. It seemed good. I got all the way into town, and then the temp started going up again. So I diagnosed it a little bit, and I figured it's probably the thermostat. Anyway, found a service station in Sedona. They are going to take a look at it today for me, so that's awesome. So I had to pack everything up, head into Sedona, and I'm going to drop this bike off. Now, life sometimes throws you a monkey wrench. That's just how it goes. So what we're going to do with this monkey wrench is we're going to turn this into something kind of cool. So maybe they can get it fixed today, maybe not. But there's also a dispersed camping area nearby this place. So I'm going to go check out that. And when I flew over it the other day, it really looked like a place I could launch from. So depending on how conditions are tomorrow or Wednesday, I may just have an opportunity to fly from that location, which would actually bring me much closer to Sedona. So, hey, who knows? This could turn into a pretty awesome situation. Anyway, it'll be nice to get the bike fixed, get that thermostat changed out, because I have a lot of riding I want to do on this trip. And it really sucks when you can only ride in 10-minute intervals and then take 2 minutes for it to cool down. Not quite as fun. Anyway, let's get on the road here. Well, I got some great news. My motorcycle got repaired. It took them a couple hours to figure out what the issue was. At some point in my off-road adventures, something punctured one of the hoses, one of the coolant hoses. So all the coolant, or the majority of it, drained out. The reservoir still had coolant in it, of course, because the vacuum system wouldn't pull from that. And the radiator still had coolant system, but nothing was being circulated because it had drained out from the hoses. So he was able to fix it. Fortunately, I didn't need a new hose. It had pierced it literally about an inch from the end. So he was able to cut it and then affix it back to the motorcycle. So I just had to pay for labor and some coolant. Man, very happy with these guys though. Definitely will be giving them a good review. So now I am looking for my campsite or a place to camp. And I'm out here in the backcountry again, where they have open camping, you know, wherever you want to camp. So this one's a little bit busier than the other ones I've been at. So I'm gonna go in kind of deep. Hopefully it will be less busy there. This seems to be more RVs. Obviously this road is a little bit more drivable, so I'm guessing that's probably why, but we'll see what we can come up with. It is extremely windy. They have a wind advisory out, and then it's supposed to rain tonight, so I'm really debating if I want to sleep in the rooftop tent or I might just sleep in the truck tonight. We'll have to see once we get set up. So I'll show you once we got our location up. So I'm coming around the corner looking for a campsite, and this is the view. I mean, all of these sites are picked up because of the view out here, but wow, that is amazing. Okay, it is getting dark, it's windy. I found this amazing spot. I'll show it better in the morning, but I wanted to show you my setup. We've got 26 mile-an-hour gusts and about 18 mile-an-hour winds tonight, and it's enough to where I'm not going to sleep in the rooftop tent. I'm actually going to sleep inside the truck. It'll just be more comfortable. It's supposed to rain tonight too, so yeah. The rooftop tent is awesome. It'll handle the wind, it'll handle the rain, but I wouldn't be comfortable. It'd be noisy, and things are flapping and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's my plan. So what I ended up doing though is I built a windbreak. I used a canvas tarp, and I put a windbreak on this side of the truck. So that way it's connected to the trailer and the truck, and it just keeps the wind from coming right through. That way I can grill over here and I can sit over here with a little bit of comfort versus being blown all over. But anyway, it's really awesome out here. I drove for probably an hour on this forest road and all of the sites were taken. I'm just like, wow, I couldn't believe how many people are out here camping. And I was literally this close to turning around and going back 40 miles to the campsite that I was at earlier. But I saw this one and it was kind of hard to get up into. So I stopped alongside the road, walked up into it. Nobody was here. I mean, you could probably have 4 campsites in this area, but nobody was out here. And I think it's because the way in was kind of rough. Well, the old Ford can handle it just fine. So I pulled up in, no issues. I backed into a cool spot. We've got a big tree here blocking some wind, and then with the windbreak that helps. And it is the most magnificent view. You can't see it very good now, but you'll see it in the morning. It's amazing. So anyway, a guy did pull up here just a little bit ago in a truck with 5 little kids, him and his wife, and him and I talked for 45 minutes. Another awesome guy. So far the people I've met out here just have some common sense to their way of thinking. And yeah, it's just part of me getting away from life was to take a break from just all the politics and the craziness going on in the world. And it's kind of cool to meet people out here that just have that same way of thinking, who recognize the benefits and the value of our freedoms. And one of the things that we talked about, you know, he was going into how people hate this country and how they're trying to ruin the country and they don't understand. And I said, the problem that most people don't understand is that it takes all of the components, unfortunately, to make things work in this country. I know there's things that some people don't like, but you can't just take little pieces out and expect the same result. So I don't like all of the aspects of America. I don't like all of our history. I don't like all of the bad things that even happen to this day. But the reality is, there's no perfect system. So what we want to do is try to fix the things that don't break the legs of the whole entire system. Okay? So you might have to tweak things here and there, but you know, we're at this point where there's some substantial changes going on, and it's kind of scary. So anyway, it was good to talk to the guy. He seemed like a nice guy, good head on his shoulders. Frustrated, as many of us are. So anyway, now it's time to chill out. I'm going to grill out some chicken, and I'm going to turn in early tonight. Man, I am wiped out. It's been a long day. So I'll catch up to you guys later. Good Tuesday morning. So last night we had a pretty crazy storm, and it wasn't as much rain as it was the wind. But when the rain came in, it got everything wet, and then the wind picked up all this dust, all this red dirt, and it just covered everything. The truck got coated, all my gear got coated. Fortunately, I've been able to use my shower system this morning, and I pressurized it with the air pump, and boy, it really creates a lot of nice pressure. So I sprayed all my gear off, anything that was outside that got covered in sand. The things inside the truck weren't too bad because I had that big tarp up that kept the wind from blowing on it. But man, I'm sure glad I didn't stay in my rooftop tent last night. That thing would have been just coated with red dirt. I don't know how. I would have had to take it to a car wash and open it up and spray it. So anyway, it was a good call to sleep in the truck last night. But now you can see the views much better this morning. It's incredible. I'll probably send the drone up here shortly. The winds are pretty mellow right now. So last night was probably the best night's sleep I had. I don't know if it's because of the cooler weather or I'd just been exhausted from a couple days of not so good sleep. But yeah, I slept really good. I opened up the sunroof. This thing's got that big, huge sunroof that covers both the back and the front. So I opened that up, and it was pretty cool. Pretty cool to see the sun come up. Pretty cool to see a few stars last night. It was in and out with the clouds going over, but It opened up the space. It did feel a little bit bigger, so it wasn't too bad. Anyway, I'm just getting things kind of settled this morning. I'll make something quick for breakfast, and yeah, I think I'm going to explore this area a little bit before I pack up and hit the road. So, talk to you later. Okay, I've been spending most of the morning kind of reorganizing, setting things up in a way that is just more conducive to camping, traveling. It's one thing if you get to a spot and you're going to sit for a week, but since I'm moving around quite a bit, I just wanted to make things easier to get to, easier to pack up. But I did want to show you, I was cleaning up the solar panel. This is what got blown up over everything last night. And this solar panel was partially covered. So you can just imagine how everything else was coated. So I got things pretty much cleaned up. Not a huge deal. I'm not looking for everything to be perfect, but that's just how it is. Let me clean off this panel quick and then show you the inside of the truck, how I've got the electronics set up. Nothing a little paper towel and some water can't fix. Now, one of the reasons I look for camping in these settings is to be away from everyone. Unfortunately, even where I'm at now isn't away from everyone. Or you can see there's a campsite right over there with a bunch of people. And know it, they've got music blasting in the morning, so I can hear the bass of their music. It's like you come out to nature like this and you decide, hey, you know what I want to do? I want to listen to some upbeat, loud bass music when you've got this beautiful nature around you. So I did notice driving up here, there's a lot of side-by-sides, a lot of ATVs. So I'm guessing this is kind of one of those types of areas where people are drinking and partying, and you know what I mean. So I'm going to be heading out of here in a couple hours, so I'm not too worried about it. It wasn't an issue last night. Fortunately, the storm probably kept the noise down. But anyway, let me show you what. So inside the truck, I've got a Blue Yeti power source. That's right here. And that's an 1100 watt, basically a lithium battery, but you can plug in any device to it and it keeps things charged. Now my truck is able to charge that pretty much while I drive. It only charges at 200 watts. So it takes about 5 hours of driving to fully charge the unit. I also have my solar that I can plug in the panel, but that only charges at 100 watts. So if you get the idea of, if you have a basic understanding on how these systems work, you have to really plan ahead to get the power that you need. Now here I've got my fridge. This thing is awesome. Really doesn't use much power at all. Keeps things nice and cold. You can adjust the temperature wherever you want, so you can literally get it down to freezing temps if you want to make a freezer out of it. Down deeper in, I've got my little inverter system that I built mostly for this trip, but you know how the new truck has the power boost? It's a hybrid F-150, and you can buy and in the back you can have the kit where you've got plug-ins, you've got even a 30 amp plug-in. I wanted something similar, so what I did is I added an inverter. When we flip to the inside of the truck here, I've got a battery box here with an outlet accessible, and basically it gives me 2000 watts of power, and it's very rare to run anything in excess of that. But I've also got a port for USB and a cigarette lighter port. So basically you can kind of keep things going, and I put this little guy in here just to kind of give you an idea where my battery's at any given moment. Now that also does charge while the vehicle is running. So after a few hour trip, both of these batteries are pretty much topped off. Now, as you can see right now, my gloves got a little wet this morning. So I've got this cool little heater here that'll dry my gloves off here shortly. So this is kind of the craziness in the back right behind me. Now I don't have it set up exactly how I wanted it. I just kind of threw it together. This is my Ryobi battery charger. I power my fan at night. I've brought a drill. I brought a big spotlight. So anything that needs that battery I've got with me as well. So it's just kind of thrown together just to make it work for what I need. This bike has taken me so many places. I cannot believe how amazing this bike performs. Now I have to admit the tires play a pretty big part in it. I bought these sweet tires for it and I haven't been super happy with them on the highway, but I tell you what, with what I've been doing today, they are amazing. Well, I was hoping it would warm up a little bit more today, but it hasn't. 57 degrees is apparently our max today. But the good news is, look at that beautiful light in the sky. The sun came out. The sun, just standing in it, you can definitely feel the radiant heat from it. So I gotta take a shower. I didn't have a chance yesterday. It was the storm coming in and I got to camp late. So I'm not going to have time tomorrow because I'm going to hit the road early in the morning. So tonight's my really only chance. I wanted to show you guys a little bit how I do this. And of course you need all these different components and I'll let you know which you can get by without. But the first thing is a hot pot. So what I do with this is I'm basically heating the water, I'm boiling water, and I'm going to add it to the cold water so to hopefully give me some lukewarm water. Now of course to boil water I need something that can produce 1,000 watts. This guy right here, my Blue Yeti, just barely does the job, but it does it. And you know, this thing is about 1,100 watt hours, so basically you can run something that's 1,000 watts for an entire hour. That's how well it would do on a full charge. Now I'm not fully charged, but it only takes about 8 minutes to fully heat that water. So let's go down to this, an air pump. This is something you could get by without. You don't need an air pump, but how that works is that hose runs all the way up to our water tank. Now the water tank is pressurized through this hose. Now this thing also has a valve here. You can pump this up and down, up and down, up and down, but I tell you what, I've tried that and it literally takes 50 pumps to give you some decent pressure. So I decided to use a compressor, and what that does is it pressurizes it very quickly and the water comes out of it just like your shower at home. So that is how this works. Now, of course, the water that is in this tank right now is cold. It's 57 degrees out. It was 38 last night, so it hasn't had a chance to even warm up at all. So hopefully adding in some boiling water will lukewarm it up a little bit. I might do 2 passes of hot water just because it's cold out. Anyway, so down here I use my wood blocks that I use for my trailer when I need to detach. So those wood blocks make it nice to stand on something that isn't going to get my feet all dirty. So I created a little bit of a barrier once again with my canvas tarp. That thing works out great for a wind barrier and a little bit of privacy barrier. But you'll see out here, my closest neighbor is that car way over there. I think I'm pretty good. So water is boiling. I've got all my bath supplies here. Macaroni and cheese for dinner. Toothbrush, soap. I always keep the soap handy. I don't have any shampoo. I'm probably gonna wait until I jump into a hotel for a night, if I end up doing that, and then I'll wash the hair. But it would just take too much water and too much time to wash the hair. Plus it'd be freezing cold. So anyway, you just keep everything ready to go. I put this bungee up here so my towel's all ready, shower's ready. I tell ya, you can make anything work, huh? Who needs that expensive shower at home? Okay, let's see what I can do here. Ah, clean skin. After that dust storm yesterday, it was pretty crazy. So I felt like I had dust all over. So the shower worked good. That boiling water heated it up enough. It was lukewarm, but definitely better than a freezing cold shower. So got the fireplace going. Got that going right away because I wanted to get warmed up quickly. One thing I forgot to mention on these window coverings, so I don't know if they make them for all vehicles, but for the F-150 Super Cab they make the whole kit for all the windows. And the cool thing about it is it's, like I said earlier, it's got the black on the one side and then it's got the Reflectex on the other. Well, what this does is it reflects radiant heat. So At nighttime, when it's cool outside and I'm inside sleeping, I can flip these around so that the radiant heat stays within the vehicle. So pretty cool. I didn't really think about that before, but last night it was pretty chilly. And just today, leaving the truck closed up with these in here helped maintain some of that heat as well. So better than nothing. I don't know how significant it is, but I don't heat the inside of the truck when I'm sleeping. I just use a heated blanket. So anyway, we'll see how it works. But it's going to be a chilly night and a very chilly morning to fly in. So I'm going to sleep in the truck again tonight. Actually, it's been pretty cozy, mostly because in the morning, just before I get up, I can start the truck, let it warm up so I don't have to crawl out of bed in freezing cold temps. The tent has worked out pretty nice the 2 nights I did stay in it because conditions were pretty decent. So anyway, depending on where I go next, it's supposed to warm up tomorrow. In the next few days, it's supposed to warm up. So I will definitely be using that tent more. I'm pretty much all packed up and ready to go though for tomorrow. So it'll probably take me 30 minutes or so when I get back from my flight, load up and go from there. So anyway, cooking up some steak and some macaroni and cheese for dinner tonight. That's about it. My motorcycle ride, that ride was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And after I got done on the dirt, I went out on the road and just went back into some neighborhoods and kind of cruised the area. It was just so nice to be on the bike again. Everything's running great now, no issues with it. So I will definitely be writing a review for that company because if you're ever in the area, they're the place to go. All right, time for some dinner.